Greetings and welcome to the Social Sciences Division's degree ceremony. Greetings, graduates, families, and friends. I'm Amanda Woodward, the Dean of the Division of the Social Sciences at the University of Chicago. With the conclusion of this most unprecedented quarter, the university confers degrees upon 150 students who have completed programs of advanced studies in the social sciences. Though the means of our gathering, virtual rather than in person, may be unlike any degree conferral the division has held before, what today's event recognizes is unchanged. This morning, my colleagues and I have the honor to recognize your achievements individually as graduates of the University of Chicago. Just a minute ago, I got a text from Amelia Lee, provost of the university, offering her congratulations to all of you, and so I wanted to convey that. Today, we recognize your singular achievement, the completion of a graduate degree, the result of your passion, commitment, sheer effort, and brilliance all combined. There are few occasions in life where one gets to celebrate the fruits of a long labor, and so I encourage you to make good use of this one. Celebrate, savor the moment. You've done something truly exceptional. This is also an occasion for gratitude. No individual achievement of the scale you are celebrating today is possible without the help of other people, the families, partners, friends, colleagues, and mentors who have all contributed in essential ways to what you have accomplished. So I know as you take the time to celebrate and savor your own success, you'll also take the time to remember and to thank the people who made that success possible. We begin our ceremony today by conferring the Faculty Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentoring. In recognizing the graduates of our program, we also reflect upon our own accomplishments as teachers and advisors. That is, we mark the culmination of our work as faculty in the social sciences. Each year, we honor one of our number upon nomination by the students with the Faculty Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentoring. And I'm pleased to recognize Eric Oliver, professor in political science, as the recipient of this year's award. As a mentor, workshop organizer, dissertation advisor, and department citizen, Eric Oliver has done extraordinary work on behalf of the graduate students in the Department of Political Science. He co-authors regularly with his students, and in so doing, he includes them in every stage of the research, writing, and publication process. He has chaired or served on the dissertation committees of many, many students over the years. And for the last several years, he has advised the American Politics Workshop and launched a weekly lab for advanced graduate students. It's no accident that so many seek his regular counsel and support. Through his time, commitment, and expertise, he is a steadfast advocate for graduate education. Through his mentorship, collaboration, and leadership, Eric Oliver has been an invaluable source of training and professionalization for graduate students in political science. Congratulations, Eric. I now have the privilege to introduce today's faculty speaker, Kristen Schilt. Professor Schilt is an associate professor in the Department of Sociology and the director of the Center for the Study of Gender and Sexuality. Professor Schilt earned her doctorate in sociology from the University of California at Los Angeles and came to the University of Chicago in 2008. In 2016, she was a fellow at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University and currently serves as the director of graduate studies in our Department of Sociology. Professor Schilt's work seeks to make visible those cultural assumptions pertaining to gender and sexuality that are taken for granted and serve to naturalize and reproduce social inequality. She is currently working on a book entitled Conceptualizing Agnes, Exemplary Cases and the Discipline of Gender, which is a collaboration on a larger multimedia project and will be accompanied by an experimental film. Professor Schilt received the Faculty Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentorship in 2012 and the Llewellyn John and Harriet Manchester Quantrell Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching in 2013. Professor Schilt.
Thank you so much for the introduction. As a faculty member, there's no greater pleasure than getting to celebrate with your students on graduation day. and being able to meet their families and celebrate their achievements. Though we're not able to meet in person this year, it's a great honor to be here virtually with you today. As the 2020 graduating class in the Social Sciences Division, you completed your MA and PhD work in unprecedented circumstances. Faculty members often reminisce about the days of dissertation writing and romanticize the joys of living a so-called cloistered life. But the experience of the last few months has put into perspective what it actually means to be isolated in thought. All of you wrote the remaining pages of your theses and your dissertations without physical access to the library, separated from your friends, your family, your community, and facing the real or potential threat of illness. Without office space, you wrote sitting on beds, couches, kitchen counters, wherever you could. You did this while teaching remotely, organizing your children's schoolwork, and navigating your visa status. Since the murder of George Floyd by police on May 25th, many of you found ways to continue your activism, organizing and participating in protest, or writing public-facing editorials that call for our country, cities, and universities to be partners in the fight against anti-Blackness in America. Your resilience and leadership in this moment has been remarkable to see. When Dean Woodward invited me to be the speaker today, I dug into our online archive of convocation speeches for inspiration. I started in the recent decade, but by the end of my research had made it all the way back to 1929. This 1929 convocation speech, the first that actually took place in Rockefeller Chapel, stood out to me for several reasons. First, it was delivered on the precipice of the Great Depression, so 91 years ago yesterday, which in light of the economic turmoil and unemployment wrought by COVID-19 felt unfortunately salient. Second, the speaker was Robert Maynard Hutchins, who was the then president-elect of the University of Chicago, and a figure who's played an unexpected role in my development as a faculty member and in my own work. Robert Maynard Hutchins came into my life through my father, who has worked in higher education all of his life. When I joined the faculty here, my father was over the moon that I was going to what he called Hutchins University. He could not believe that there was very little formal acknowledgement of Hutchins' time at the university aside from a small plaque. Hutchins' writing on the role of education shaped my father's own career, and I have to say Hutchins is a great read even today, as he offers up visions of higher education as, quote, unsettling the minds of young people, alongside snarky quips about university administrators, the annoying faculty demand for better parking spaces, and his distaste for athletics. My personal favorite being, quote, when I feel like exercising, I just lie down until the feeling goes away. Still holding the record for the youngest person to be appointed university president, he was 30 at the time, Hutchins was a public intellectual who frequently appeared on the radio and in the news media to defend academic freedom in the face of McCarthyism and to make an impassioned case for the value of a liberal education, a form of education that many conservative politicians and business magnates argued was indoctrinating young people with radical ideas about social change. President from 1929 to 1951, Hutchins introduced many institutional reforms, some of which we live with today, such as the divisional model of graduate education. Other radical experiments that he adopted, such as suspending fraternities and canceling all varsity sports, are long gone. Hutchins' project that's had the most longevity outside of the University of Chicago is his work with Mortimer Adler on curating a series titled The Great Books of the Western World. I won't rehearse the critiques of this project here, and there are many, but simply acknowledge that Hutchins and Adler initially curated a selection of books composed entirely by white European men. But my interest in the Great Books Initiative is not in the content of the project, but in the impact. Hutchins and Adler found a way to take conversations that happened only on the manicured campuses of private universities to a broader public. In the 1950s and 1960s, great book clubs sprung up across the country at libraries and at civic centers where people read books and engaged with text from Plato to Marx. These groups drew college graduates alongside men and women who had never had the opportunity to study at a university. I personally have taken the public-facing aspect of the Great Books Project as a provocation for how we might today take critical ideas and research beyond the walls of the university and the pages of academic journals with paywalls. I imagine something like the Great Problems Project, public engagement around climate change, racial justice, gender equality, economic redistribution. Rather than advocating that we try to curate a new canon of great books, I wonder how we might harness the virtual platforms that now saturate our world. Platforms that have, we've learned in the last 3 months, been able to facilitate real and meaningful connection between people separated by a few blocks or by an ocean. I've experimented in my own work with film and with transmedia storytelling, but we can also imagine engaging with video games, the most prevalent shared form of media today, or Zoom, Twitch, whatever platform comes next. As you leave the University of Chicago, my hope is that you use your expertise, your research, and your voice to open to a wider world these crucial conversations that I've been privileged to have with you over the years. I want to conclude by addressing the uncertain economic situation into which you are all graduating. We've heard many opinions on what the next few years will entail, and I won't pretend to have answers. But what I can say is that we as a faculty are here to help you through this. While the University of Chicago might have the legacy of being the university that once canceled varsity sports, I've learned more here about the value of teamwork and collaboration through working with my MA and PhD students than I could have imagined. These relationships with your advisors and your peers continue past your time at the university and will, I hope, be a source of support in good and bad times. So in this moment of uncertainty, I hope you take the time to celebrate your incredible achievements with your communities, knowing that we're always on your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Before we proceed to the naming of the graduates, I'll take just a moment to orient us to the next portion of this event. In a moment, you'll hear from chairs of the doctoral programs in the Division of Social Sciences and heads of the master's programs in the social sciences a bit later. In these short videos, each will share a few thoughts and words of congratulation. Then we'll recognize students in doctoral programs who are receiving their degrees today. And next, the faculty director of master's programs in the social sciences will share their thoughts and congratulations, and those students graduating from master's programs will be recognized. So at this time, I want to welcome virtually, via recorded video, the department chairs of the doctoral programs in the social sciences.
Hello, my name is Joe Mosco. I'm the chair of the Department of Anthropology at the University of Chicago. And on behalf of the faculty, the administrative staff, and the graduate program, I want to congratulate you on completing your dissertation and your PhD in anthropology. It's a remarkable achievement, and I wanted to thank you for your years on campus, making life in Haskell Hall interesting, vibrant, intellectually rich, and congratulate you on the day. Now, as you know, this is not exactly how we thought we would be spending convocation this year, but given your training in anthropology, you understand that the world is filled with contingency, and we are practicing rolling with the contingency this year. So we will do our best today to honor your accomplishment and achievement and mark it, but please know that you are also welcome back on campus next year for a in-person convocation where hopefully we can be together and celebrate this as it should be celebrated. For now, I hope you are safe and in a good place and able to celebrate the day in high fashion.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Cole, and I'm the chair of Comparative Human Development. I'm here to wish you a warm congratulations on having completed your degree and PhD in Comparative Human Development. Completing a doctoral degree is a long, hard, and often a very lonely road, and we're incredibly proud that you've made it through and that you've done incredibly well as well. The skills that you've gained in CHD are ones that cut across and that help think about scaling from the individual up to the community, up to the global. And those are skills that we need more than ever before. And we are so proud to have you with us and to have had you with us. And we wish you really good luck as you go out into the world.
My name is Adrian Jones. I am Alan Grant MacLear Professor in the Department of History, and I chair the Committee on Conceptual and Historical Studies of Science. Here at the University of Chicago, we like to say that we live the life of the mind. And Conceptual and Historical Studies of Science, because it does philosophy and history, and it engages in work in the sciences, perhaps exemplifies that ideal more than most departments. But the last 2 or 3 months have forced us to live the life of the mind in a rather different way. We've been separated from students, from colleagues, from fellow researchers. We've had to find new ways of making and sustaining contact, of teaching, learning, and communicating. I'm heartened to say that it seems to have worked. In my own experience, I found myself not only doing the same things that I did before, but doing different things, and in some ways doing them better. So I've been involved in workshops and seminars that have involved not just other people from the university here, but colleagues from across the whole world. In other words, it's been a heartening example of how human ingenuity can take a bad situation and actually make it work. And in true University of Chicago fashion, we've learned from this. When we emerge from it, next year maybe, we will be the better for it. Congratulations on graduating from the program, for making it through all of this. And good luck on going forward into a career that I'm sure will be both prosperous and fulfilling.
I am Robert Scheimer, Alvin H. Baum Professor and Chair of the Kenneth C Griffin Department of Economics. This last quarter has been an extraordinary one. We have all lost many things. But some of those things help us to understand what is most important about our community of scholars. For me, it is this. Every day that I am on campus, I learn from my colleagues and from my students. I learn in the classes that I teach, in the workshops and seminars that I attend, and in the presentations that I give. I learn because our vibrant intellectual community always challenges ideas. We do this not to tear people down, but to help us to understand their ideas and to strengthen their foundations. As you head out from the University of Chicago into your new workplaces, I encourage you to recreate the intellectual environment in SIA Hall. As we have seen this quarter in our efforts to move online, this is not easy to do. But it is possible if we remember to always challenge ideas, those of others, but especially our own. Good luck and congratulations to all of you.
Good morning. My name is Amelia Lee. I am professor and chair in the history department. I'm here representing my colleagues in the faculty to celebrate the completion of your doctoral studies. It has been a very unusual year. Self-isolation, remote teaching, remote learning, and many other such challenges. Unusual indeed, but we know as historians, not unprecedented. Epidemics have been a fact of life in human history almost from the very beginning. The past, in this way, is always present, but also that tells us that we are able to overcome as we will this time. We gather today to celebrate your magnificent accomplishments. And so, on behalf of my colleagues in the faculty, I am delighted to congratulate you and to welcome you, as they say, quite aptly, to the ancient and universal community of scholars. Congratulations.
Congratulations, University of Chicago class of 2020. You came to us in the lead up to a historic presidential election, and you're leaving amidst an international pandemic and nationwide unrest. Interesting times doesn't convey the least of it. These last 4 years have brought our country to its knees, just as you, thankfully, are standing up and setting forth. Our country, our world, need you like never before. We're so sorry we can't send you off in person, but please, come back, tell us what you've seen and what you've done, and please know that we are so very proud of you.
Hi, I'm Dave Gallo, Chair of the Department of Psychology. As a researcher of human memory, I know the importance of milestone events like commencement. In a normal year, we would all gather in Rockefeller Chapel, just steps away from the psychology building. Professors would anxiously await the arrival of our students, and we would beam with pride as each of you graced the stage. This year, we're gathered online. But that doesn't change why we're here. We're here to recognize the countless hours you spent in the lab. We're here to recognize the discoveries you've made. And most of all, we're here to recognize the researcher you've become. This is a difficult moment in time for all of us, but the need to slow the world down also provides a unique opportunity to reflect. Today, I hope you take some time to remember the path you've taken to get to this moment. And I also hope you think about the future and how you plan to change the world once the world opens up again. And of course, years from now, I hope you look back and remember this event with the same affections that we all share with you today. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm Joel Isaac, the acting chair of the Committee on Social Thought. It's been an eventful quarter from the perspective of the chair. I'm pleased to say that all of the committee's classes were held as scheduled, all of them online, of course. And the same is true of workshops like the Litfield workshop. It's been nice to keep a sense of intellectual community despite the challenges of the last few months. The most important thing I want to do in this message is just to convey to our new graduates my heartfelt congratulations. Social Thought PhDs are a rare and singular bunch, and it's wonderful to think of you graduating and joining their ranks. Congratulations again, and the best of luck on the next stage of your professional lives.
Hi, I am so pleased to be here and to be able to celebrate with you. I'm Carrie North-Cetina. I'm the Arthur Borker Distinguished Service Professor in Sociology, and I also chair the department. I have to say that this term has been the most breathtaking and dramatic I ever experienced in my life. It had its good parts, but it also had its down parts. But the best surely is seeing you all making it through and graduating despite of all the hardships of the past half year. For me, the worst part of this term was not being able to see my family, which is stuck in Europe, and from where I come, and I can Zoom them, but I cannot hug them. The worst part has also been seeing the woundedness of the US on so many levels. It's a country I love, and it has helped my whole career off the ground with early postdocs at the Institute for Advanced Studies in Vienna and in Berkeley, all financed by the American Ford Foundation. Now, you've made it at the University of Chicago, and so I'm confident you will also make it in your life. And if you want, it will be you that can help the US chart a new course and regain its role in projecting a better, equitable, and democratic future for the whole world, not just for itself. With that, I congratulate all of you recent graduates to your tremendous achievements and wish you a successful career and a wonderful life. Thank you.
I now have the pleasure of welcoming Patrick Hall, who is the Dean of Students in the Social Sciences. Patrick will present the graduates from doctoral departments in the Division of the Social Sciences, including those students who have earned doctoral degrees and those who've earned master's degrees in these programs.
Dean Woodward, each of the students I now present has completed a program of advanced study. On behalf of the faculty in the various doctoral departments in the social sciences, I now have the honor to present them as graduates of the University of Chicago.
You have all achieved scholarly distinction. The doctoral degree graduates have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research. I now welcome you to this ancient and honorable company of scholars.
Ali Fazer, reproducing photochemical life in the imaging capital of the world. Kristen G. Hickman, Revolution Darija, imagining vernacular futures in Morocco. Ashley Elizabeth Drake, militarizing affection, the making of the military working dog team. Sam Schilt, Yueha Bai, essays on the econometrics of randomized controlled trials. Seth Bloomberg, payment between friends, compensation and signaling in an altruistic partnership. Ilya Andreas Bollers. Optimal intergenerational risk sharing when stock and labor markets are co-integrated. Alec Brandon. Social pressure and self-selection in experimental policy evaluation. Michelle Carter. The long-run effects of program interactions in the social safety net. Evidence from food stamps and Head Start. Eric English. Essays on education and healthcare. Fang Fu. The role of sales information in online consumer search. Antonio Gabriel. Idea flows, economic growth, and human capital. Grant Ganaway. Essays in Health Economics. John Rockbridge Grigsby. Skill heterogeneity and aggregate labor market dynamics. Robert Jackman. Learning speeds and labor market adjustments. Sheila Jiang. Banking globalization and cross-border capital flows to emerging market economies. Andrew Jordan. What can plea bargaining teach us about racial bias in criminal justice? Pafon Gayasukudeka. Essays on economics of rural households in developing countries. Kyungbei Kim. Medical testing as optimal information acquisition. Kyle Cost. Trade policy uncertainty, investment, and lobbying. Karthik Nakarajan. The investment and insurance effects of unreliable electricity. Evidence from Indian manufacturing. Sarojini Vasudev Rao. Essays in Economic Development. Yu Yoshioda. Long-term tax salience effects. John Vandenberg. Competitive information degradation. Yuyao Wang. Relationship lending and the transmission of credit supply shocks. Liangji Wu. Partially directed search in the labor market. Wenzi Zhu. Essays in Information Economics. Ying Zhao. Search and Inelastic Rest Unemployment, an Analytical Framework. Stefano Pegorato. Essays on Financial Intermediaries and Monetary Policy. Douglas Zhu. Optimal Banking System for Private Money Creation. Jun Hee Lee. Rather 100 singing laborers than a single professional. Imagining the Japanese masses in the UChicago movement, 1948 to the present. Chandler James. Alex Haskins. Innovating Empire. Domination and Resistance in 19th Century China and Japan. Do Young Lee. Tailoring Extended Deterrence. How States Provide a Security Umbrella. Claire Berge. Heron Chung. Becky Law. Julianne Barbara Hertz. Adult Math Anxiety. Relation to Math Performance and Adult-Child Math Interactions. Kimberly Lewis Meidenbauer. the role of preference and the effective and cognitive benefits of nature. Angela Zorro Medina. Maos Brown. Institutional Change in the American Human Services Sector, Professional and Organizational Dynamics. Laura Helena Jansen. Neutralizing Title IX. Hyperlegal Consciousness on College Campuses in the Age of #MeToo. Amelia Lee. Who Belongs to the Nation? Joshua Gary Massoff. Enter the Partisan Firm, How Effective Polarization Shapes Corporation and Career.
I hope that you were all, as you saw the graduates roll by, imagining applause reverberating off the walls of Rockefeller Chapel, as I have been thinking. At this time, I want to welcome virtually the faculty directors of the master's programs in the social sciences who will share a few words with you.
My name is James Evans, a professor of sociology and director of the master's program in computational social science at the University of Chicago. The computational social science program is young at Chicago. This is only its third graduating cohort, but its roots go deep here, with the Committee on Communication defining quantitative content analysis as an approach in the 1940s, Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts, the first to formalize neural networks as computational devices in the 1950s, and computation now augmenting all aspects of scholarship and science today. We live in an algorithmic age, when computation and artificial intelligence has been woven through the fabric of everyday life, transforming work and leisure, penetrating even our most personal and intimate parts, from self-identifying purchases to courtship and marriage. The master's graduates we present before you today are equipped with a unique combination of skills and imagination. They are social scientists, trained in cutting-edge ideas and theory about how people behave and how the social world unfolds. But they are also computational scientists who both understand and can deploy the tools of artificial intelligence and machine learning to grapple with humanity's greatest challenges today, which include the systemic institutional racism that has so inflamed the country these past 2 weeks, but also the future of work, the diagnosis of mental illness, our addiction to screens, the global experience of living in cities, and how to improve the collective intelligence platforms by which we increasingly navigate our lives. I am proud of these graduates, their original and powerful arguments, and the novel view of our social world that their computational methods provide. They are going on to work at some of the world's greatest technology and social media companies, to study and achieve further advanced degrees from some of the world's greatest universities. With these diplomas, digitally given today, we certify you as educated persons, women and men. With them, you enter a great fellowship of Nobel Prize winners, human rights activists, professors, entrepreneurs, and captains of industry, and so many others who contribute good to our world and who've issued from the University of Chicago. And I charge you with your unique views and tools to elevate, reimagine, build, and heal our world. Come back and visit us often at the University of Chicago. Our hopes fly with you. May you plow every failure into a new success. We will be watching your progress. The world depends on it. Until we meet again, congratulations, graduates. I applaud you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Stanlin, the Faculty Director of the Committee on International Relations. I want to offer my sincerest congratulations today on graduating. This is an enormous accomplishment, especially given the extremely unusual circumstances of the last several months. We're proud of you. Completing coursework and writing a thesis in a single very busy year is a challenge, even under the best of circumstances, and the last couple of months have been far from that. During your time at UChicago, you have met students from across the globe, adapted to a new city, new campus, and new set of expectations, all while pursuing your own research and professional interests, and hopefully having some fun, too. We've been thrilled to get to know you, to work with you, and to learn from you. And we've been so hugely impressed with the grace and adaptability with which you've adjusted to a radically unexpected way of having to finish this academic year. Please keep in touch as you move into the next phase of your lives. We'd love to hear from our alumni. On behalf of the faculty, preceptors, and staff, we're excited for you and wish you the very best as you move forward. Congratulations again.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brody Fisher, and I'm a professor of history and the faculty director for the Center for Latin American Studies. It is such a pleasure and such a privilege to be able to add my voice to those that are here to congratulate you today. The fact that you have been able to complete your studies in such challenging circumstances is a testament not only to your grit and determination, but also to our collective commitment to harnessing the power of ideas and research and deep thought as we confront the challenges that surround us. I'd like to extend my special congratulations to those of you that have worked with us as master's students or certificate students in the Center for Latin American Studies. Your presence is what gives our center vitality and is what makes it worth us doing the work that we do. I congratulate you not only for your tenacity in completing your degrees in the middle of so much chaos and so much disruption, but also for your determination to dedicate at least part of your life to the study of Latin America and Latinx populations across the hemisphere. Now more than ever, as we confront the shared crises of COVID-19, economic collapse, and racialized violence, we realize that the United States and Latin America are inextricably connected. The work that you have done here and the work that you will do in teaching what you have learned really does matter. So thank you, suerte y fuerzas.
Good day, everyone. My name is Holly Schisler, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations. It is also my honor to serve as the faculty director of the Center for Middle Eastern Studies. In that capacity on this happy day, I would like to offer my sincere congratulations to the men and women who are receiving master's degrees in the area of Middle Eastern Studies. These men and women have gained significant expertise in the languages, history, politics, and religions of the Middle East. It is a substantial achievement, and all the more substantial when you consider the educational difficulties that the last quarter has presented. I know that they will use their experience and knowledge going forward to improve the world that we all live in. And I want to offer, on my behalf and on behalf of the other faculty and staff associated with the Center for Middle Eastern Studies, our very warmest best wishes for all the future endeavors of these graduates.
MAPS Class of 2020, congratulations from the faculty, preceptors, and leadership of MAPS. You have come a long way. Not even 9 months ago, we welcomed you to the Social Sciences Division in the University of Chicago. As we gathered in Max Pilevsky Theater, I suspect you were thinking that you would work very, very hard, and hoping and anticipating that you would have an exciting, stimulating, and satisfying intellectual experience. I trust that we met the first expectation, and knowing my colleagues on the faculty and the staff, I'm confident that we met the second as well. It has been our pleasure and our honor as members of the faculty and as preceptors to help you along your way. Of course, though, it hasn't been an ordinary year. You and we and all of us have had to deal with a situation so far out of the norm that we would never have imagined it as a possibility. You've finished your MAP studies in Zoominars. All of your consultations with your thesis advisor and your preceptor have been mediated by ISPs and LEDs. You've made personal adjustments and you've made sacrifices. And now, just as the end of the quarter and the wane of the disease seemed to be nearing, we all witnessed a shocking event that intensified the pain of the Black community and stirred the outrage of every decent human being. This is not the final quarter at the University of Chicago that you imagined for yourself. It's not the final quarter at the University of Chicago that we imagined for you either. I wish the spring had been otherwise. I wish so many things had been different. I wish this day had been otherwise too. These have not been ordinary times, but over the last 3 months, you've proven that you're not an ordinary class. MAPS will long remember the class of 2020 as the class that pulled together. MAPS will long remember the class of 2020 as the class that persevered. And MAPS will long remember the class of 2020 as the class that succeeded, even though the class that found the resources within itself to meet the high expectations of our program and to do even more. And so today, as you proceed from student at the University of Chicago to graduate of the University of Chicago, our hats are off to you. We will stand with you as you embark on the next steps of your life and your career, but we know that whichever path you choose, you will find your way forward. We are proud of your accomplishments that we celebrate here today. We know that you will make us proud of the accomplishments that will come tomorrow and hereafter. From all of us, congratulations to all of you, our historic MAPS class of 2020.
Thank you to the faculty directors. Dean Hall will now present the graduates from the master's programs in the Division of the Social Sciences.
Dean Woodward, each of the students I now present has completed a program of advanced study. On behalf of the faculty in the various master's programs in the social sciences, I now have the honor to present them as graduates of the University of Chicago.
You have all achieved scholarly distinction. I now welcome you to this ancient and honorable company of scholars.
Si Fon, Fulin Ge, Jianshu Han, Xuyan Wang, Li Liu,
Abhishek Pandit,
Peng Suyuan, Boyang Chu, Awen Shang,
Ying Sun, Sanitawan Tan, Siyu Xu, Dongchen Yang, Chenjin Zhang, Weiwei Jiang, Andrew J. Coey, Livia Dawala, Tessa Demantova, Seth H. Harrison, Vivi Garvi, Jacob Jones, Paul Wilhelm Ludwig Jr., Jayi Mawankar, Bongtian Ruan,
Logan Smith, Emma Solamine, Tomoko Takahashi, Alyssa Walters, Ari Weil, Jianhong Yin, Jinghan Zhu, Colin Whitney Andrew, Sean A. Rowling, Jillian Grace Brand,
Coleman Durkin,
Megan Ekstrom, Christina Ambrose, Tamsin Avra, Anna Bowman, Rebecca Bell, Haley Burgess, Yishi Chen, Sarah Genevieve Dufour, John Eckenstein, Marcos Falconi, Acton Jiaxi Fung, Seema Freed, Hannah Elizabeth Goss,
Tristan Gramsch Calvo,
Erica Greenya, Chenyang He, Huenyi Hua, Mundi Huang, Yunsik Seng, Sokun Jia, Joseph Johnson, Eric Karsten, Kangana Kohli, Jessica Seiyun Yi, Yanyi Lun, Feng Liang, Xinyu Liu, Yanhu Liu, Matthew Lively, Bei Nicole Luo, Mengting Lua,
Blake Andrew McGeckie,
Catherine McGrath, Micah Meadowcroft, Margaret Meldrum, Ellen Miota, Harrison Morin, Daofeng Nguyen, Mirai Pulis, Viana V. Qua, Madeline Quaisbarth, Diana Reed, Christy Reed, Amelia Rush, Mary Ross, Jacob C. Rothman, Nathan Eric Shear, Sean Shan, Michael Allen Sheffield Jr., Sharon Zimei Shun, Shuyang Shi, Yu Shi, Aaron Kelsey Schertz, Alice Tollickson, Daniel Carruthers Tracht, Wenyi Yang, Yanwen Yu, Nikolina Zenovich, Tina Danting Tang, Lu Zhou, Wei Zhou, Yuanhang Chu.
Congratulations, everyone. Again, I hope that you can hear, as I do in my imagination, the cheers reverberating off the walls of Rockefeller Chapel for you. I want to leave you with just a few words. As you were conferred your degrees today, I welcomed you into this ancient and honorable company of scholars. The fact that these are the words we say in this ceremony is testament to the foundational role of community in academic life. In fact, you have been members of our community of scholars from the start of your time here. And this is important not just for you, but maybe even more so for the university. Graduate programs are not simply extensions of the intellectual work that faculty members do. They are integral to that work. Each of you has brought new insights, new ways of seeing, new energy to our scholarly community. And so on behalf of my colleagues, I thank you. Our university community, like so many communities, has been deeply challenged in unprecedented ways over these last several months. As you each worked heroically to finish your theses and made plans for your next steps, we moved out of the buildings on our campus in response to the then rapidly growing pandemic. We worked as best we could to reestablish our community, striving to find ways to sustain our intellectual connections, our research programs, and the networks of personal support and friendship. And then over these recent weeks, with events that have drawn the nation's focus to deep and longstanding injustices, our community has been challenged in new ways. These challenges we have experienced have been concrete and palpable in the limitations on our ability to connect as a community, particularly in the context of the need for mutual support and thoughtful communication. These challenges has also served as challenges to us as scholars, calling us to apply our expertise and insight to the pressing problems of our day. You are leaving us for a much more challenging future than anyone could have envisioned when you joined us. But you are leaving us prepared to make a difference. I congratulate you on all that you have achieved here. As you look ahead, remember that you are a part of the University of Chicago community in a permanent way. You are now alumni of the university and the Division of the Social Sciences, and I hope that these relationships will continue to grow and flourish. On behalf of my colleagues, let me say that it has been our pleasure and our honor to work with you. You have enriched our scholarship and our lives. We wish you every happiness in the adventures that lie ahead. Congratulations.